After a strong redshirt freshman season at Notre Dame, CJ Carr is a hot topic in the college football world, and he was a hot topic at the NFL Combine. We're going to talk about that more in this video with Tyler Horka, who was at the Combine in Indianapolis last week. Folks, please do hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel, and go to blueandgold.com for so much more content about the Combine, Notre Dame recruiting, and more. So, Tyler, tell me about that. Like, what was being said about Notre Dame star quarterback last week?
Yeah, well, it started with Eli Raridan, who was kind of the first to lead off for Notre Dame in terms of when he did his meetings with the teams, and then he met with the media. And it's like a progression down there, getting through all those different things before ultimately culminating with what you guys see on TV, with what these guys do in the workouts on the field. But getting back to the CJ Carr thing, Eli Raridan led off and said, he's the best quarterback that I played with at Notre Dame. And if you think about it, Riley Leonard led Notre Dame to the college football playoff national championship game. Sam Hartman was a big name at Notre Dame while Eli Raridan was here. And there's all these different guys. And he points to CJ Carr as the one that he said puts the ball in the perfect place all the time. He prepares the perfect way all the time. There's like everything that you look at with CJ Carr, he's doing it the right way. I followed up with Malachi Fields, of course, who spent one season at Notre Dame, Virginia transfer wide receiver, and kind of put him on the spot and said, hey, Eli said this. Do you agree? And he was like, you know what? Yes, CJ Carr was the best quarterback that I've ever played with as well. So when you're hearing that from two pass catchers, that goes a long way. And then you hear it from the offensive lineman. Emil Wagner says, oh my gosh, this guy is a savant. That's his word, not mine. You hear Billy Strauss say his preparation is second to none. So getting all these players from different positions saying all of the same things. CJ Carr is a dude. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's at the NFL Combine this time next year, Mike. I know he's got some extra eligibility left in the tank, but if he has the season that he can have, he might be one of the top picks at the quarterback position in the 2027 NFL draft.
Yeah, if I had to guess, that would be the case. Some lists may have him at the bottom of their top 10 returning quarterbacks in college football. But I know Tyler and I would disagree with that. And I know you also got to talk to like former Alabama players who spoke about like Keon Keely, Notre Dame's new defensive end, and former Ohio State players who talked about Mylan Graham and Quincy Porter, Notre Dame's two receivers out of the portal from the Buckeyes. Anything interesting to share there?
Yeah, I'll start with Keon Keely. Caden Proctor is one of the best offensive linemen in this NFL draft, just a mountain of a human being. And he was very impressed with Keon Keely's physical stature, saying he's a big, powerful dude. He has one of the best bull rushes that Proctor has ever seen. I spoke with another Alabama offensive lineman, Braden Roberts, as well, saying this guy, he wasn't really getting the chances early in his Alabama career, but you wouldn't know it based on what he was doing in practice. He was practicing like he was going to go out there and sack the opposing quarterback any given week, every given game. So the work ethic, I think, is what sticks out with Keely, and that will transfer to Notre Dame. We don't know what he's going to do at Notre Dame, but we know he's going to work hard, and that's a big thing. And it's the same thing with the Ohio State wide receivers as well. Carnell Tate obviously is one of the best receivers in this NFL draft, and he did some great things at Ohio State, and he was saying some similar things about Mylan Graham and Quincy Porter. They just needed an opportunity, and they're going to get that at Notre Dame because they walk into a situation where I'd be shocked if both of them are not in the two deep. They should both be in the two deep, and maybe both of them will start games at Notre Dame. Like, that is possible. And all of the guys I talked to, Lorenzo Styles being one, by the way, former Notre Dame wide receiver, he covered those guys at Ohio State because, of course, he made that transition to defensive back. And he said, yeah, they work hard, that like they're doing all the right things. At some point, they are going to be good college football players. And the one nugget that I got from the Ohio State guys, I was actually talking to some Ohio State beat reporters, because that's what you do at the Combine. You kind of go out afterwards and kind of say, hey, this is everything that we learned about these guys. And I won't mention the names of these Ohio State beat reporters, but they said, Ohio State probably could have used Quincy Porter, especially, and Mylan Graham back on the 2026 Ohio State roster. So those guys could have done great things at Ohio State, and now it's shaping up that they probably will do great things at Notre Dame.
You guys also in the past couple of weeks have been able to interview some of these newcomers and the new coaches, of course, including Aaron Henry, defensive backs coach, and Charlie Partridge, the D-line coach. What interesting things did you learn from those interviews?
Yeah, we'll obviously learn a lot more about X's and O's and coaching styles and stuff. These were kind of surface level, hey,
Introductory, sure.
get to know you, introductory stuff. Let me ask you about your first impressions of the players and whatnot. But I'll say with Charlie Partridge, I get Mike Denbrock vibes in a way that super serious, loves football, is serious about football, but will also kind of kick back and make a joke or be personable. And I think that when you're a little bit on the older side, like Denbrock or Partridge, I mean, look, Notre Dame has had some young coaches on this staff, and they would be on the older side if you're just looking at that.
Sure.
Excuse me. They're still relatable in a way, and I think that's huge. Like, I think Charlie Partridge is going to relate to Notre Dame's defensive linemen perfectly. I mean, I don't have any issues with or any reservations with him being able to go out there and coach these guys and get them to perform their best. And with Aaron Henry, I think that he is not the antithesis of Mike Mickens, but in
Yeah,
a press conference setting, he will say a lot and he will tell a story and he will give you anecdotes and whatnot. So it's going to be interesting seeing the dichotomy between those two coaching styles. But hey, man, I was getting Marcus Freeman vibes with Aaron Henry in a way that, like, he will, like I said, he will tell you something that you weren't expecting out of a press conference and leave you thinking, hey, that was a pretty cool thing that he said. Or, you know what, I think this guy's going to do well because he thinks this way. So, once again, with Marcus Freeman's coaching staff, you're getting a marriage of all these different personalities and coaching types and whatnot. And I really do think it's going to work out. Talking to those two guys in consecutive weeks, I'm like, you know what? I'm impressed. I'm impressed in different ways, but I'm impressed nonetheless.
wrapping up, going back to the combine, Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love, those two guys. I mean, the 40-yard dash, I feel like, is the most interesting thing at the combine, and they both ran really well. Jeremiah Love sub 4.4, and JD Price was right around a 4.5
He
at
was
his
at more
size.
4.49, I believe. But if you look at that, I mean, it's still faster than Kyron Williams, and Kyron Williams has
Yeah,
44 touchdowns in the NFL the last.
and Price is a big boy, like
Oh my
running a
gosh,
4. Yeah,
that's the thing that stood out to me when we were interviewing him. Again, like I said with Eli Raridan, you get to interview them the day before they work out. And Price shows up in a hoodie, and he's filling out his hoodie a lot more than I'm filling out my hoodie right now. I'll just tell you that. Physically, he's impressive. And then Jeremiah Love, physically, he's impressive as well. For what Jeremiah Love ran, the 3.36, I believe it was, he looks big. Like,
yeah.
I was actually in Lucas Oil Stadium after I'd finished some of my writing for the day, and I see him doing all the different drills. And I know they wear the skin tight, whatever you call that. It's like spandex almost. Like, that you have to look ripped if you're an NFL player wearing that. But Jeremiah Love looked big, and I'm like, he's going to be tough to tackle. It was tough to tackle at Notre Dame. He's going to be tough to tackle in the NFL. And for him to be as fast as he is for being that size, and the same with Jadarian Price, his upper body is massive, and he's still sub 4.5. So
Yeah.
really, really impressed with those guys. And then the other thing, the last thing that stands out about their combine performances, I only counted 3 running backs who stayed after to catch passes from quarterbacks and ran extra routes. Like, Jeremiah Love had already done his little flip that you saw go viral on social media. All the other running backs leave. Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love stay, along with Navy's Eli Heidenreich, who Notre Dame fans got to know, playing against him a couple times the last couple of years. Those are the 3 guys that stayed and caught
Yeah.
those passes. So the discipline is there with these guys. They want it. And I would be very surprised if they were not the first 2 running backs taken off the board. They're that good, and they deserve it.
You said 3.36 earlier. I believe you meant the 4.36 for
Yeah,
the 40-yard
4.36.
dash.
3.36
3.36.
would be like Incredibles, like
Yeah,
Marvel
eventually.
superhero movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say the NFL will eventually have robots playing, or you'll
Yeah,
have
true.
the Chat GPT team competing and everything. Folks, please do hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel for more content. Again, head to blueandgold.com for so much more content on your Fighting Irish spring ball. It'll be here before you know it, and we'll definitely have a ton of reporting on that on this YouTube channel and our website. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next time.